There's a new sheriff in town. His name's Rogie. Keeping the peace. Are you keeping the peace, peacemaker? Took Rogan for the first walk that we've really, a real walk that him and I have had in, probably 3 weeks to close to a month since he hurt his leg. And we had a nice walk. Man, I think he's doing better. So that's good. I'm hoping the notifications went out. I'm going to have to refresh the chat. Oh, wait, no. There's one person is here now. I don't know why I'm not getting any notifications. Yeah, none. Could it be my title? Did I do a poor title? Did they bust my title? So no notifications go out? What did I put in the title? Couldn't have been that bad, right? Hey, Ben Roach. I'm just I'm wondering if a single, hey, Amadeus, did you guys get any notifications that I was live? Amadeus, Ben Roach, did you guys get notifications that I was live? You got a Facebook and a YouTube notification? Oh, I don't have my Wi-Fi on the phone yet. That might be the issue on the phone, why I'm not getting notifications there. I don't know if notifications came up on, oh, you got notifications. Okay, cool. All right, well, you know what, man? I'm not that late. It's 7:38. Let's go ahead and get into the discussion right now. So I had left the soak last night. You guys that were watching last night's show, you know that I put Everclear in this bubbler to try to break down all of the oil that was in there so that I can make triage oil, right? Well, it only took out, hey, Bridget, it only took out a small amount. It didn't work the way I thought it would, even by letting it soak overnight. Even by using hot Everclear, it didn't work. Twice. Marie Hicken Butler, what's up? Hello. And I was like, well, it didn't work. I know it does work. It works. 99% isopropyl alcohol. So, no, if you call this ethanol and this is propanol, yeah, the ethanol didn't do it. The natural alcohol wasn't enough to strip all the oil out of my glass. And there was plenty in there. So I went ahead and I've got the ISO derived right here. And I've got, I'm sorry, the Everclear derived right there. And then this is isopropyl. I put isopropyl in here. And look, it got all of the oil out of that oil catch. And it's all in here now. Now I'm going to show you something. So this soaked in Everclear. This soaked in Everclear all night. And look how dirty that is, right? I'm going to show you something. And I swished it and I agitated it. I heated it up. Still, look at all that oil on that glass. Covered, right? Here, look, let me show you closer so you can see all the oil on there. See all that? So, got to drag, strip, and ask for methanol, but be very, very careful with that. Okay, right. So, we take this, we're going to put that in this dish, and we're going to take the ISO, and we're going to pour the ISO that's already been used to strip the oil out of this bubbler. We're going to get all of the ISO out. And the reason why we do that is every single drop of ISO that is in this bubbler right now has got oil in it. And we want to get all of the oil back. So we're going to strip it all out. Look at that, one drop at a time, which is fine. Just let it drip out. Just wait for it, Let gravity do its thing. I can still see it's running down the sides there. And as soon as that's done, this is ready to be cleaned now with some hot water and a little bit of dish soap, and then this thing will be crystal clear once that ISO makes its way through there. Little bit more ISO in here still. And what I like to do is when almost all of the drips are out, I'll just kind of turn it a little bit and see if there's anything caught up in there anywhere that I can still manage to eradicate from the bubbler. So that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Now you can see this is nice and clean. Now, remember, this thing has got a lot of oil on it still, right? But this is isopropyl now. So I'm going to swish this, and I could heat this up, which would make it go even faster. And for this video, for the sake of this video, I might actually just do that. I might just stick this in the microwave for 20 seconds and just show you how well the ISO, once it's heated, works. But as of right now, Harley, I'm sure you've got food, buddy. Just swishing it doesn't seem to be doing the job completely, but it is, the ISO is getting darker, so it is working. It's just not going quick. So I put this in the microwave for like 20 seconds, and I can leave the glass in there. I'll probably be fine. And that way the glass is nice and hot, and that oil will just melt right off. How you guys doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. Riley Mack, hello. Harley, what do you want? I'm sure you have food. Let's do two things. I'm gonna pop this in the microwave for 2 minutes, and not 2 minutes, for 20 seconds, I mean, and I'm gonna go check his food really fast. Okay, so it instantly took the oil off the bubbler. Do you remember how caked on that was? Look at this now. Look, let me put it down here. I'm gonna have to grab the camera to show you. But look at this. Look at that, guys. And that's hot ISO. That's how fast it cleaned that. And this will all be removed with heat. When I use the torch on this, I'll clean that off with heat. That little bit of char that's on there. But you can see it literally took all of it off. And you can see that ISO is now colored. It's got our concentrate in it. So we were able to successfully strip that. Okay? Got some dust on me. I'm a little dusty. Outside. I got involved in some things outside. Yeah, I'm involved. I got dusty. Okay, so Michael Haskey, what's up? Poor Dog, hello, welcome back to the show. So glad I removed your ban. ISO evaporates at about 80 degrees, so its safe way would be a bowl over cooking water, but don't use gas stove, of course. Yeah, don't use a gas stove. That's great advice, bro. Don't use a gas stove when dealing with flammable liquids like alcohol. Hey, Haskey. Okay, wow, this worked very fast when hot. I only put it in the microwave for 25 seconds. I let it boil, I let it bubble. And now we've got our clean stuff here. And now I'm just gonna mix the ISO. We could keep these separate, but I'm not worried about it. Because I'm gonna purge all the alcohol out anyway. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna rinse this a couple times with ISO. If there's anything that's gonna come out of there, it will. And like I said, what's left is just gonna be torched off to get it nice and clean looking. Now I know that whatever's left in there is just char. It's not retrievable, because if the alcohol didn't retrieve it, I don't need it. So there we go. We're going to rinse that with water first before we torch it, because we don't want alcohol residue in there. In the meantime, I'm going to take both of these and combine them like that. It's like cooking, isn't it? Cooking up the concentrates, son. And you guys can see the coloration in here. And that is all the oil that was in this bubbler. It's now in this alcohol, which is ISO and Everclear mixed together. And now all we have to do, there's several things you can do. You can put this on a warming plate, like a candle warmer, right? Don't put it on an open flame burner or anything like that. You can microwave it to heat it up a couple times, boil it. But for me, I'm never in a hurry. Yes, Everardo A, I am in Florida. Thank you for noticing. But for me, it's just easy enough to just set this aside. You put it in a cupboard, out of the way, you know, where it's not going to get dusty. You don't want to cover it while you're evaporating. It won't evaporate if you cover it. But you can leave it partially covered to keep dust off of it, but you want to leave an opening. And I just let this sit. And then over time, that oil, the alcohol all evaporates, and you're just left with a residue of oil on the bottom. And you can keep using another container to do what you just saw me do, and then you pour it into this one, or you scrape out the oil and put it in this one, or you can keep using this one. It doesn't matter. There's different ways you can do it. I used the same one over and over and over again for years, and then eventually I filled this thing up with oil. It was just filled up with oil, and I had to do a new one, you know? So over time, that will happen. Just depends on how much you're smoking. But you realize this stuff all gets thrown away. When people are cleaning out their bubblers, every day people throw this stuff away and don't realize that they're literally throwing away the base for triage oil every time they do it. And it's right there in their hands, and they don't even realize that they've got the cure for a lot of their pain right there, man. A place where it won't get touched, right? And where it can evaporate. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to put this somewhere in my room. Carlos, you're a psycho. Game psycho, game psycho. Yeah, game psycho. You are a game psycho, a game psycho. Yeah, game psycho. Okay. Game psycho, game psycho. Yeah, game psycho. I'm stirred up. Okay. No. Okay, I'll turn it off. I forgot to turn it off. I was heating up some ice cream. Cleaning up my rollers. The high alcohol. Yeah, you cannot continuously heat alcohol up in the microwave. You can only do it for 20 seconds at a time until it starts to boil. If you push it past the boiling point, it will explode in your microwave. So don't do it. Make sure you never leave it unattended. And if you're going to go long on it, you know, for whatever reason, don't be close to that microwave because you could blow it up, man. That could blow up. I've done it before. You got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have some experience and understand the dangers of what you're messing with. Like the 1322 dogs. And 4 cool hats and more cool. What? Magic. What? You're in Florida to make a sort solvent or residue chasing. Don't let your dog drink it. Like the 1320 practice wizardry. Yeah, Everardo, are you okay? You kind of not making sense completely. I don't understand. Hope you're all right, dude. Okay, let's turn this gain down. Gain function down a little bit here. There we go. That looks good. Good here. We go right there. Just leave it like that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to rinse this out with water really quick, and then we're going to torch this to clean it. So let's rinse it quickly. I can rinse it right in here actually. I've got a little sink right here. We'll allow me to do that. So what we're doing now, we're just getting the alcohol out of it. We don't want any alcohol residue. You can use soap at this point, but it's not necessary. You just basically you want to avoid any alcohol that might flare up in there. Now, also, we're going to dry this as much as we can because we're going to be heating it, and we don't want the water to interact with the heat and crack the glass, right? So I'm going to blow the water out of it both directions. Just stated that dogs can't OD on wax. It's edible too. Right, on wax. You're talking about wax. I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay, I got you, buddy. Cool, cool, cool. All right, now in the meantime, I'm also going to put some water in this. So I'm going to go get some triple filtered water and put this in the bottom of the bubbler. We're going to be heating up here. This part's the part I want to dry. I can use a Q-tip to get some of the extra water out of there too. The water's not good. Like I said, it can confuse the glass and make it crack. You just want to be careful with that. Let me, actually, let's put some triple filtered water in this. I'm sorry, am I boring you guys? Let me know in the chat. There's only 6 people watching, really? Oh, okay. Okay, so now we can clean this with our torch. We're gonna get those marks off of there. The water is boiling inside there, I can see it. And we're just getting that char off of there. It's gonna look brand new. You want to put just the tip of the blue flame on the glass. That's the hottest point. And that'll get this done the quickest. Okay, that should be enough for that side. Now we'll do this side. All the water is gone, I believe. Just about got it all. Now this is going to be good to smoke out of right now. Cool Peace Namaste. It's edible. Why do people say Namaste? Nama. Why do you say that? Is that your language, Everardo? Is that where you're from? I don't understand that. Maybe you could tell me what that means. I guess I'm not in your Namaste fucking club or whatever. I don't know what it means. Okay. Not too close to the fitting. No, I know. You don't want to get too close to where it's. You'll weld it. You'll weld it to the frickin' You'll weld it to the glass, and you won't be able to get it off, man. You got to be careful about that. I know. Okay, there's a nice dab on there. Looking good. I think I could go in a little bit more. I'm going a little bigger than that. That's pretty up there. There we go. That's better. There's hair in there. Where did all these fucking cat hairs came from? Oh, my cat. That's right. Form of greeting from India, but not too sure. Okay, so, dude, are you from India? Are you from India, dude? Namaste, dude, whatever the hell. Everardo, are you from India? Do you even know what you're saying? Do you even know what that word means? Or do you just think it makes you sound cool and like a hippie? Did you just hear a bunch of hippies say that, so you want to be cool like a hippie and you think that's cool? Let me know. I'm just curious why people say that shit. You have no answer for me, do you? Isn't that funny? Ask, hey, next time someone says namaste to you guys, ask them, hey, what's that mean and why do you say it? Why can't you just use the English words for it? You know, it means peace. Well, you just said peace. What, are you trying to sound cool? You think it makes you sound cool? Is that it? Trying to fit in? Trying to be groovy? I'm just kind of wondering, what's that all about? All right, cheers. Isn't it funny? He's got no answer. Hello, boys and girls. This is the trolley. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Oh, that was good. That was a great dab. And it tasted so good. This is exactly why I love the show, man. Namaste. Because I don't put up with bullshit, man. You know, I call people on their bullshit and they hate it. That kid didn't even answer me back. You know? He didn't even have an answer. Doesn't even have a response for it. Doesn't even have a response for his own bullshit that he didn't understand. you know? Just makes me sound cool. I was in a little culture club the other day, a little coffee house, and that's what we say. A little culture's coffee house. Where they put your pronouns up on the wall so everyone knows what to call you. Whether you're a them or a they or a he or a she or a her or a him, they let you know so you know what to call people. They say namaste there too. Don't stay here, go stay somewhere else, motherfucker. You must stay somewhere else, but not here. You hold up the live, long, and prosperous symbol when you say namaste. Live long, namaste. Hey, look, I can do it. Dude, look, I can do it. I can do it. I've never been able to do that my whole life. Can't believe I can do that with my right hand. I can't do it with my left. I know I can't do it with my left, but I'm doing it with my right, man. That's cool. I've never been able to do that. Maybe I'll be able to lift one of my eyebrows up too and Spock you simultaneously. No, can't do the eyebrow, can't Spock you still. One thing at a time, one Vulcan trait at a time. That's my logo. That's my motto. I learn one Vulcan trait at a time. I'll work on the eyebrow next. Maybe it should be this eyebrow. Jim, I am a Vulcan. Spock, are you out of your Vulcan mind? Spock, are you out of your Vulcan mind? We should have some bright smoke rings here, shouldn't we? We're gonna need some flour for that action, for that activity. Yo, you're very good, you. Hey, you know what else? This dabber could be swished around in the alcohol, and all of that oil on there could also be used for the triage oil. I will dip that. I'll put it in. I'll let it soak overnight in the ISO, and I'll get some more oil off of it. Now, this is not going to be a lot of oil. It's my first cleaning, but after a few, you know, over time, I'll build up oil. You know, this is the slow method. If you're not growing, you don't have access to a lot of flour. This is how I started out making triage oil, you know, starting right back out at the beginning. Rogie and I had a nice walk this morning. We saw some bird had gotten eaten by a hawk or an owl or something, probably an owl, because it ate it up in a tree, and the feathers were all over the street. It was pretty interesting to see. Okay. My flower jar is where? Where's my flower jar? It's right here. It's behind the Everclear. Well, I guess it wasn't that clear. I couldn't see through it enough to see the other side of it. All right. Almost Spockish eyebrow, I know. Doesn't work for me. Never been able to do that. But I've never been able to do this either. And now suddenly I can. So there you go. That's cool. I can't believe I can do that. I didn't know it. I've always wanted to be able to do that. I need more Botox for the eyebrows. Okay, here we go. Let's get some smoke ring action going, okay? Because we got all this sunlight. We don't want to let it go to waste. So I like acting all serious about shit that doesn't matter. You know, we don't want to let the sunlight go to waste. We've got to be able to see the smoke rings. So let's go ahead and get on that, folks. Cheers. Sunbeams for smoke rings. And your fingers from cleaning cannabis. Oh, is that why? A ring went through another ring. Nice. Oh yeah, I ringed a ring. I didn't see that. I got kafefi though, bro. I got kafefi. You can tell the future in the rings. So there's protests going on, and Tim Pool says that there's looting going on and rioting. I don't know. Maybe we should check out the Tim Pool just to see what he's talking about. You know, I hate Tim Pool more than Tucker Carlson. But, you know, like I tell you all the time, I'm listening to people that I don't always agree with now. And it's Tim. Always with that stupid South Park hat on his head. He's such a little kid. What, did he take it down? He took it down. Or was it just a tweet that he may have tweeted? There's no video on it. $5 days ago, 2 days, it was 16 hours ago. I don't get it. Biden calls Trump fans most extreme group in U.S. history as row tensions grow. Maybe it was a tweet that he tweeted about it, and it wasn't a video. But this is his most recent upload from 16 hours ago. Without any refrigeration. This is your special Patriot food. Tim Pool is such a tool. He's such a tool of the Republican Party. All right, let's see what he's going to say here. Little South Park character, just a poorly drawn South Park character.
Addressing the story of the leaked initial draft from the Supreme Court showing they voted to overturn Roe v. Wade, Joe Biden said, quote, MAGA is the most extreme political organization in American history, which is objectively false. It's not. Trump supporters in the MAGA movement are actually fairly moderate when you look at most data points. But I don't know what story or data point or idea exists that would make that even a reasonable opinion to say.
Okay, fine. So just explain yourself, Tim. Just tell us why. I just want to know why. Tell me what the data points are then. Great intro. Let's have the information now.
Certainly you can disagree with MAGA, but the most extreme political organization in American history? Biden went on to say that the ultra-MAGA agenda would ban LGBT children from classrooms if Roe v. Wade is overturned, which makes literally no sense. Those things have nothing to do with each other. I think he was trying to mash up the parental rights and education bill in Florida with Roe versus Wade. Sure. Now, this is particularly irresponsible because it's coming off of rioting we saw last night. As people marched through the streets, smashed police car windows, and attacked cops, Joe Biden comes out and says the most extreme political organization in American history. It's not true. The left has continually moved further and further left. Or the better way to put it, I suppose, is that left-wing positions have become more pronounced and more extreme than they used to be. I don't want to play the left-right game necessarily because they mean different things to different people. The left hasn't necessarily become more communist than they've ever been. Those who want communism want communism. But in terms of certain policy ideas, the left has continually embraced more extreme versions of these ideas, notably abortion, which is the big deal today. It used to be that Democrats were in favor of restrictions. Now they don't want any restrictions. Republicans wanted to ban abortion. They still just want to ban abortion. So they haven't become more extreme politically. They're kind of in the same place they were. In fact, many Republicans have become a bit more moderate, as we saw with Donald Trump's move into the Republican Party. But I got to point out, with everything we've seen over the past few days, with the rioting, not the worst rioting we've ever seen, but with 2020, with those riots, with the current state.
You guys, when I say what, it means what he just said doesn't even make sense. Can I hear from you in the chat? Are you guys paying attention to this?
State of politics, with statements made from progressive political commentators on the left, civil war. I know, perhaps it's a cliche at this point. Tim Pool's saying it.
You're a cliche.
But I think more and more evidence lines up to show this is the case.
You're a fucking South.
And I think one thing that people are probably overlooking is how demographic dynamics affect the political fabric of this country. If you take a look at the divide between young left and young right, it is pronounced. And when millennials reach boomer age, the divide will be dramatic. Right now, if you take a look at polls.
He thinks millennials are going to reach boomer age. Let's hope the planet lasts that long.
You can see that there is a divide between Democrats and Republicans, but they mostly live in a similar world. I think the Democrats are better, but I think the Republicans are better. When you look to the younger generation, you have a complete rejection of the two-party system and the establishment. This is true for the left, and it's true for the right. And that means both sides hate the political structure, want dramatic change, aren't getting it.
Okay.
And of course,
you made sense
when the boomer generation is gone and millennials take over, you're going to see a whole lot of this. Let me show you the demographics. It's something I've talked about before. As people who are 18 today age up, become 28, 10 years from now, the votes are going to be more dramatic. They're going to be calling for more dramatic policy. They're going to be defending more dramatic action. The right will respond. It will get violent. So I don't know if we see civil war in the next few years. Perhaps.
He's right. I agree with everything he just said. The left is pushing crazy fucking policies. And people on the right and people on the left and people in the middle should all be fucking, you know, in the streets protesting right now. A ministry of truth from the Biden administration. Biden, one of the biggest liars before Donald Trump. Biden is the biggest liar in all of politics before Donald Trump came along. So Joe Biden is the second biggest liar in all of politics.
Will be a mostly digital conflict, like a culture war we're already experiencing. But I don't know how we survive, especially as the right starts to gain a foothold with things like overturning Roe v. Wade. We return to states' rights, which results in a more polarization geographically. And then you will have blue states be overtly blue and red states be overtly red. And then eventually they say, enough, there is no reason for us to be part of one country. And then you get a fracturing, not too dissimilar to what we saw with the first Civil War, states competing against other states. So I want to show you exactly what Joe Biden is saying and why he's saying it. To be honest, he's saying this to earn votes for the midterms. He is sacrificing the fabric of this country.
I agree.
Votes. But what can I say?
I agree with that.
I think the Republicans do something similar. I think as much as there are people of principle who are standing for their principles, there are establishment shills who don't care one way or another and will burn this country to the ground for power.
That's true.
The arguments coming out of the left about what will happen next
it's what Joe Biden is doing.
Are insane. Swalwell saying that Republicans want to overturn loving the Virginia.
You know, screw everything and screw the people. This is what I think is best for you because I'm the decider. I'm so sick of that. And then you got the entire Supreme Court, you've got the entire Congress, you know, all of the Senate. They're all on the same fucking page, man.
Yeah. which enshrined interracial marriage. Are you nuts? That's not going to happen. To be fair, the left said, yeah, well, y'all said Roe v. Wade wouldn't be overturned either, and all of these Trump justices said it was settled law. Fair point. I don't know what will happen. Maybe weird things will get overturned. I'd hate to see it, but I think either way, there will be a crumbling in this country.
You hate to see it, but let me tell you something, bro. You've been contributing to it. So I think I understand what's going on. Tim Pool's a libertarian. He doesn't want any government at all, right? He's a libertarian. He is a vocal libertarian. He does not want government. So he's acting like a right-winger, and he's pushing right-wing narrative to start civil war. He literally wants the government brought down from a civil war, and he wants it done out of hate. Not out of people getting together and bringing the government down, which is what I would like to see. No, he wants to see a giant war where everybody hates everybody. And he's been working towards it by posing as a right-winger when he's really a libertarian with right-wing, obviously right-wing viewpoints, obviously.
Let's take a look at what's going on with this story. Before we get started, my friends, head over to timcast.com and become a member to help support the work we do. If you like these videos and you like the reporting we do at timcast.com,
no, we don't.
You become a member, because that is how the website continues to exist. How do we employ
poorly drawn South Park character Tim Pool sucks my dick.
Because as you become members,
just so you guys know,
funding we can use to grow the website.
Screw this.
As a member, you'll get access to exclusive segments of the Timcast IRL podcast Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m., as well as all of our other shows. When we have
drawn South Park character Tim Pool,
and you're going to be helping
some third grader try to draw South Park character, and it was
so again, timcast.com, become a member. Don't forget,
and then Tim Pool was born.
Subscribe to this channel. Share the show with your friends.
Poorly drawn South Park character.
Story from the Daily Mail. MAGA is the most extreme political organization in American history. Biden warns of Republicans' ultra-MAGA agenda. Now, I want to pause real quick.
I think you should pause real quick. I think you should pause real quick, and I think it should be because you're going to explain exactly why they're not, right? This would be that time, Tim, where we're a few minutes into this video now. I don't know how long into the video we are. Now would be the time that you should explain exactly why MAGA is not the most extreme political group in the history of America. I want to know why, and what is your explanation? Go ahead, tell us now.
Really boiled my blood. Joe Biden said this. It was a quote. He said it. He said the most extreme. And when I was looking through mainstream press, they all tried to downplay it, ignore it, or not show what our president of unity had been saying.
Our president
Politico changed his quote to say the most extreme in recent history, not what he said. Disgusting. Many others outright ignore the quote in their headlines. CNN says Biden goes after the ultra-MAGA agenda as he sharpens his midterm message. This is called burying the lead. The president saying this of half the country, my friends, this is a deplorable moment. When Hillary Clinton came out and said it's a basket of deplorables,
right?
That spelled doom for her campaign.
Yes, that was
same thing for Joe Biden here. Take a look at this. These nonsense arguments.
He makes some.
So we know now Biden called them the most extreme.
So this is what makes these guys so dangerous. People like Tim Pool, people like Ben Shapiro, people like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, is they will spout facts and they will make points, and those will resonate with you, and then you will start believing that everything that they're saying is true, and that's how they get you. Jimmy Dore does it too, and that's how they get you to believe that everything they say is true. They spout a lot of facts, but when they start throwing in their opinion and their narrative and trying to put those facts together to make a point that's not true, you can easily be fooled by their game. I'm here to point that out to you, okay?
He also warned the GOP could ban LGBT children from classrooms if Roe v. Wade is overturned. What does that mean?
Well,
and signaled they could even reverse.
They're already starting to ban abortion, Tim Pool. It could mean that they could just ban LGBTQ kids. You can no longer be, okay, kids, you can no longer, if you're a boy and you feel like a girl, you can't dress up like a girl anymore. You can't be LGBTQ. I mean, the person will still be able to show up in class, but they'll be called a bully. You know, and they'll be called whatever their boy name is. You know, that's what they're talking about, Tim. Why is that so hard for you to understand? They're literally erasing the abortion Roe v. Wade right now. So I don't understand why that's such a far leap.
1965 Griswold v. Connecticut case that struck down a state law banning the use of contraceptives by married couples. What? It was a ramp up in rhetoric from Biden following the Supreme Court leak that caused a firestorm and further condemnation of Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill. You mean the Parental Rights and Education bill, which also is the Don't Say Straight bill. I want to make sure that's clear for all of you. What happens if you have state changes, changes the law saying that children...
Okay, that doesn't make sense. What he just said did not make sense. And he fails to go into it in any depth to explain that stupid statement he made. Don't say straight law. My mom was sitting here watching this with us right now. I was like, Mom, listen to what this guy's about to say. She'd go like this. She'd be like, what? That doesn't even make sense. And I'd be like, I know, right? It doesn't even make sense.
LGBTQ can't be in classrooms with other children.
Well, don't expect much from a poorly drawn South Park character. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Hey, is Trendy Orca here? No way. No way. No way. Trendy Orca, it's really weird. Because now you're starting to make me feel like I'm a wizard again. And I'm going to tell you why. Because today I was watching a show from 8 months ago where I was in California. And Orca, you were in the show. You came in like second. It was like four-name lady came in, and then Trendy Orca came in, I believe. And I was like, what's up, Orca? And I was like, whatever happened to him, man? Why doesn't he come by anymore? And it's like I have that postal ESP. I told you guys when a package is coming. You know, I think about it on the day that it arrives. Dude, Orca. The only reason I was thinking about you is because I was watching a video and your name was, you were in the video. You know, but it's still crazy, huh? Here you are. I haven't seen you in, like, forever. But I'm glad you're back, man. We missed you. We need you, okay? And we need you on Twitter, too. So stick around, bro.
Hi. Where did that come from? You made that up, dude. What would happen if Democrats started forcefully castrating children? Yeah, they're grooming kids. Many of them are. I'm not saying every single Democrat or every single, individual who wants to have these conversations with kids is doing it. I'm saying some are. Can I make a straw man too and make up a hypothetical? No one is talking about banning.
So is that what he's trying to do? Because he did. Yeah, they're grooming kids. What are the next
things they're going to attack? Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history. And then he says, recent American history.
Okay,
I suppose
so
it's fair to point out that a news organization, depending on their political leaning...
A president who is 79 years old misspoke. Get over it, Tim. He tripped up the stairs 3 times in a row, too. What more do you want out of a guy who's having a problem running upstairs and continues to do it 3 times after he already has fallen on the goddamn staircase? What more do you expect out of this guy? I mean, you're not pointing out anything crazy here. He said something, yeah, okay, it was inaccurate. He corrected it. And, fine. He corrected it. What more do you want?
Highlight one or the other, but he said both. Fair point. I think he said existed in American history, and then recent American history, he's trying to walk it back. Okay.
Cool.
I believe I have, it's not true either way, fundamentally not true. I believe I have the rights.
Okay, fundamentally not true. Once again, Tim Pool loves to use these words. It's fundamentally not true. We're still waiting for you to explain what group is more extreme today than MAGA. And tell me the group that killed 5 people when they were storming the Capitol of the United States of America. I can't wait to find out what group that is. What do you got? What do you got, Tim? Fundamental me, buddy. I'm here to be fundamented. Can you fundamental me, brother? Mr. Fundamental? Fundamental.
I believe I have the rights that I have, not because the government gave them to me, but because I am just a child of God. I exist. Biden added. It's fascinating. When it comes to the issue of abortion, I suppose the question is, when does life begin? Because apparently Democrats believe after birth and Republicans believe at conception. And that's the real heart of the argument with abortion. The president's fiery attack on Republicans came just after Trump-backed hillbilly elegy author J.D. Vance won the Ohio GOP Senate primary in a test on former President Trump's hold over the Republican Party. On Monday night, a bombshell Supreme Court draft opinion was leaked showing that the majority of justices were in agreement to overturn Roe v. Wade. Okay, Joe Biden wants to say recent history. Fine. What does that mean? How far back do you go, Joe?
Go.
You want to say the most extreme in American history? Then I need only ask you of your own opinions from timcast.com. Biden's changed position on Roe versus Wade. Since he entered D.C., President Biden has had a varying stance on the issue of abortion and access of reproductive health care.
Yes, Tim, that's true. I pointed this out to my mother this morning or yesterday. We spoke about this yesterday. And it's true. And, you know, I don't think these people, once they're adults, I don't think they actually change their position. I think they claim they do to get people's votes. But I think they still believe they do. And the reason, the only proof that I have here is that he could have codified Roe v. Wade in the last 2 years, and he didn't do it. Didn't do it. Said he would, didn't do it. So did he change the way he feels about Roe v. Wade? Because he felt like it went too far, and he felt like women shouldn't have 100% say in what goes on with their bodies. That's what he said. It's a valid point, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with what Tim Pool is talking about. Is MAGA the most radical group today in modern history, political group? So this is not disproving it. This is not even apples to oranges. This is apples to elephants. There's no comparison here, Tim, and I don't understand what you're doing. I can't believe you have a team of people there helping you, and this is how you're going to defend trying to go against what you're stating. It doesn't even make sense.
All right, let's see this.
But it's a valid point, but like I said, it's strong.
Senator from Delaware, he voted to end Roe v. Wade.
True.
Under the former President Ronald Reagan.
True.
The administration was focused on ending abortion rights at the federal level.
It's got nothing to do with MAGA being a
hardcore Judiciary Committee to allow individual states to overturn Roe v. Wade. In March of 1992, Biden was among those lawmakers to vote in support of this amendment. Following the vote, he said,
Stephanie,
I'm probably a victim or a product, however you want to phrase it.
He's a poorly drawn South Park character. I don't know how many times I have to say this to you guys. He is a poorly drawn South Park character. That is what Tim Pool is.
Instead of my background.
It's hard for
his
him.
Catholic upbringing.
Because he's poorly drawn.
Recent history, Joe? You agree with the MAGA agenda.
Okay.
Right? So why is he doing this?
Okay.
The Hill says, Biden seeks to paint GOP as extreme.
With one point
CNN says, midterm message. And now we understand.
Whether he agrees with them or not, on all of their points, it doesn't mean that he can't say that they are the most radical political group of their time. And I just want to hear Tim Pool say which group is more radical here in the United States. Which one is it?
I'll tell you why I think Civil War.
Fundamental us.
Okay, and I'll show you the polls, because I mentioned this before. The younger generation will be more extreme than the older generation, more polarized is a better way to put it.
I mean,
but the phenomenon is simple.
Let me help you out here, Tim. How about a party that creates a ministry of truth? You might be able to argue against a party that attacks over a lie, but you also have a party that's created a ministry of truth and didn't codify Roe v. Wade when they promised that they would. I don't know, man. It's gotta like you. See what I'm saying, guys? You can't even say which one's worse, can you?
A news article gets written. Donald Trump is a bigot. 1 million views. The next day, they're like, what else can we write? And they say, well, we can't write the same thing again. They try. Doesn't get any views. It's like, guys, you told us Trump was a bigot yesterday. We know. Okay, well, he's the worst bigot. Okay, well, I'll read that one.
That's funny.
Then they say Donald Trump is a proud racist.
Cheers, guys.
Then they say Donald Trump is the worst racist. Donald Trump is the most racist. Donald Trump is almost as bad.
Oh, it's Cleaning Thursday.
Then Donald Trump is as bad as. Donald Trump is, and then Donald Trump is worse than.
The ladies are coming in.
Because they have to keep one-upping the narrative. They got to keep you hooked. The addiction, it's wearing off, man. It's wearing off. We need a bigger dose of that hate. But you know what the issue is? I think the right and the left are in a similar position in their hate for one another. My issue is, and I'm the last person to deny our position in this conflict. I've had people say, but Tim, don't you think you're contributing to all of this as well? Of course we are. We just happen to be right. Of course, the left says the same thing. But we are objectively right. My positions politically are not overtly right-wing.
Yeah, they are.
None of them are.
Yeah, they are.
This is a full 3 months of food without needing any refrigeration or special storage.
I've argued extensively over the past several days about being pro-choice and why, and wanting some restrictions, but believing there should not be, in the first.
Oh, you're all proud of the states' rights thing. I saw you. He said it all smugly. Oh, it's gone back to states' rights.
Trimester, it's probably got to be pro-choice with some restrictions, and I've stood by that the entire time. Certainly, my political positions don't make me right-wing. What could be? It could be that I said Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there with a gun. So yeah, you're a right-winger, bro. You took the right-wing narrative. Keep going.
It's true. It could be that I said the people who were let into the Capitol building likely will not be charged. That turned out, or not convicted. Sorry, that turned out to be true on the grounds where it was specifically individuals who were being let in. The left believes lies. Covington, Smollett, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Ahmaud Arbery, Russiagate, Ukrainegate. I can keep going on with this list. The Ghost of Kiev, there's a new one for you. They believe all of the lies. And that's what separates left and right today. So when the left says the right does this and the right does that, I'm like, the right does a lot of these things people don't like.
It's cringy, isn't it? Isn't this cringy?
But your worldview is based upon lies. So when you say you don't like something, but you don't know what you're talking about, you got a problem. Biden is sharpening his midterm message by continuing the addiction to hate. And this is what you get. From Fox News, LA abortion protests turn violent. Protesters lob rocks and bottles at cops, smash cruiser's window. At least one officer is injured.
I'm Ron Placone.
Man climbs SF Salesforce Tower in protest against
Where's Docky Hollandaise?
Okay. Can I just point something out for all of you? California is not banning abortion. Why are you going out and smashing up cop cars in a state that will never ban abortion? Why are you climbing a building, a tower in San Francisco, a city that will never ban abortion? It doesn't make sense. There's no logic behind what they are doing. They are just violent extremists for the sake of being violent extremists. You give them any reason to go out, and they will go out and destroy their own communities. And it's what they do. Now we can see the narratives emerging from the left. Once again, extreme rhetoric that makes no sense. Black Republicans slam Swalwell for saying GOP oppose interracial marriage. Quote, I'm in an interracial marriage. Rep. Byron Donalds calls Swalwell a fool for interracial marriage comment. Eric Swalwell, Democrat, said, the Republicans won't stop with banning abortion. They want to ban interracial marriage. Do you want to save that? Well, then you should probably vote. I will never vote for a Democrat so long as they have these people in their party, and so long as they do not remove people like Northam, who did a segment defending abortion at dilation. The Democrats have gone insane. Now look, tell me where the Republicans have gone extreme. Legit, I'm willing to hear it. Never been a big fan of Republican policies for the most part. Abortion, you say? They're banning.
He just said Republicans have not ever been extreme in anything that they do. Did you guys hear that? He's like, tell me one time where Republicans have been extreme. Okay, they're in the bedroom. They want to control people's gender. They want to control who goes into what bathroom. They want to control what kind of sex you can have, who you can have sex with, who you're allowed to marry. They want to control who's allowed into the country. They want to control how black people are allowed to vote, so they gerrymander the districts. That's pretty extreme shit, if you ask me. And I'm sure you guys in the chat could name some more Republican policies that are extreme as fuck. Be my guest while we keep watching this. Since the Republicans have no extreme policy. Oh, I forgot. Like banning abortion. Not extreme. Telling a woman that when she gets raped, she's not allowed to abort the baby. You know, if she gets raped by her own father, she's not allowed to abort the baby.
They're banning abortion. Makes them more extreme, you say. They've always...
Or what if a doctor says, you know, if you have this baby, it's going to kill you. You have to abort the baby or you're going to die. Nope. There's absolutists on the Republican Party. Do you think that that's extreme?
Wanted to do this. They've not moved from that position. They want to do it. They've wanted to do it. That's what they're doing. They want to give tax cuts to the wealthy. They've always done that. They want to shore up our borders. The Democrats wanted to do that. They want to build border barriers. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders wanted to do that. 2008. Well, they want to bring manufacturing back to the United States.
Oops, you kind of just, hey, Tim Pool, you kind of just negated your whole argument there, didn't you? And you didn't realize, look at him. Look at him right now in his face. It's like he just realized what he said, totally negated his whole argument. He's like, you know, all the policies that the Republicans wanted, the Democrats wanted to. Oh, oops.
Democrats wanted to do that. Tell me what they've become more extreme on. What? The people storming the Capitol? The rioters?
Yeah, pretty extreme.
Well, yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
People... And how about questioning and doubting that the election was won by Joe Biden? How about that one? You want to talk about that? That's another one. And you could say the same thing about the Democrats. Because the Democrats did the same thing when Hillary Clinton lost, and she claimed it was Russia that stole the election for Donald Trump for 4 years. Russiagate, Russiagate, Russia, Rachel Maddow, Russiagate, 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 Rachel Maddow, Russiagate for 4 years as soon as Hillary Clinton lost that election. It was Russiagate, Russiagate, Russia. Russia stole the election. Russia stole the election. Russia stole the election. So, yeah, both parties. Extreme as fuck. But let me tell you something. The Republicans stormed the Capitol over their election problem.
Prison. The Republican Party condemns those people. Like, I don't like the Republican Party, but if you follow the news, they've been smack-talking them. Mike Pence. It's fascinating that when the Republican Party adopted more populist principles that the left liked, all of a sudden, they've become more extreme and far right. I'm not playing that game. The left just says lies, lies, lies. The Republicans are white nationalists.
They are.
Look at this. Wesley Hunt says, hi, Eric. My name is Wesley Hunt. I'm a Republican nominee in a congressional district that is 70% white. I'm black. I'm in an interracial marriage, and my wife and I have 2 biracial daughters. Republicans are celebrating diversity while white liberals like yourself race bait. Byron Donald says, you're such a fool. What is wrong with you? More
You just use your whole family as a shield to try to prove that you might not have certain beliefs that are Republican, that you do, because you're probably running as a Republican. The dude's probably running as a Republican. And people, I love it when someone will come in here and say something racist. I'll be like, dude, that's racist as fuck. And they'll be like, my daughter's black, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, it doesn't mean anything. You know, your daughter can be black and you can still be a freaking racist. Unbelievable, right?
From the radical left.
It doesn't prove anything. And you're using your family as a shield.
A survey last year found that 94% of Americans approve of marriages between black Americans and white Americans.
When you do that.
And there are other races as well. Why would they say this? Why would Swalwell make up something so absurd? Now, nobody thought that
he's putting his wife
Roe v. Wade was going to be overturned initially.
My wife is white. I'm not a racist.
Being brought in. I should say many people speculated it was possible, but it was far from confirmed. Upon hearing the oral arguments, people were like, okay, this is coming.
I'm just going to make a point here. Slave owners used to have sex with the slaves, and the slaves would have their children. Okay? So don't tell me that you marry, just because you marry someone, you're not racist. Right?
Actually happened. And then afterwards, NBC and a bunch of leftists said, that's it, Roe v. Wade is done. Okay. Roe v. Wade is recent history. It's 1973. We're going back just shy of 50 years. So many people who are alive today, and I think probably the majority of voters,
remember it.
or close to, because most of the older people were alive to see this ruling happen, and may have actually been
5 years old.
Teenagers, or some people in their late teens, early adulthood, watching it happen. So this is recent history. We grew up with it. It was law as long as I can remember. It was precedent, I should say, settled law. And now it's changing. But going back to how it was in the 1970s, they keep saying it's going back to the 1950s. It's going back to the 1970s. But that isn't extreme. Extreme would be a ban on abortion. Going back to states deciding just means we're going back to federalism or republicanism. And the Republicans who want a ban on abortion aren't even doing it. They're doing it in red states for sure, but they've already had those laws in the books for the most part. Trigger laws, they call it. So what is more extreme about them getting exactly what they've been trying to do for 50 years? They're kind of...
Republicans are banning abortion all over the country, you fucking idiot. Did you hear what he just said? Republicans aren't banning abortion. Do you guys want to hear him say it again? So you can hear the insanity that this man has millions of viewers all over the internet. And he literally just straight out lies to his audience. Did you guys hear the insanity? Let's go back in case you missed it. This is 19 minutes in. Let's go to 18. Let's go to 18 minutes in. Listen to all of this. 1 minute. Listen to this.
People who are alive today, and I think probably the majority of voters, or close to, because most of the older people were alive to see this ruling happen, and may have actually been, teenagers, or some people in their late teens, early adulthood, watching it happen.
Let me see here.
So this is recent history.
18.
We grew up with it. It was law as long as I can remember. It was precedent, I should say, settled law.
1830.
And now it's changing. But going back to how it was in the 1970s, they keep saying it's going back to the 1950s. It's going back to the 1970s. But that isn't extreme. Extreme would be a ban on abortion.
Yes.
Going back to states deciding
extreme would be a ban on abortion.
We're going back to federalism or republicanism. And the Republicans who want a ban on abortion aren't even doing it. They're doing it in red states for sure.
Oh, okay. He said they're doing it in red states for sure. So he said Republicans don't want a ban on abortion. Oh, well, they're doing it in red states for sure. That was a little or a lot contradictory, wasn't it? So this is, let's say, 1840. It doesn't even make sense.
And extreme. Extreme would be a ban on abortion.
Right, extreme would be a ban on abortion.
Going back to states deciding just means we're going back to federalism or republicanism. And the Republicans who want a ban on abortion aren't even doing it.
Republicans who want a ban on abortion aren't even doing it. Now, he's going to undo what he just said right here.
Doing it in red states for sure.
Well, they're doing it in red states for sure. He says it really quick there. I didn't even catch it, the first time I heard it. They're doing it in red states for sure.
But they've already had those laws in the books for the most part. Trigger laws.
No, they haven't had those laws in the books for the most part in the red states. They've passed new laws in Texas. They've passed a new law here in Florida. They've passed a new law in Kentucky, Alabama, Nebraska, and there's more states. And there's up to 23 states right now that are looking at passing anti-abortion legislation. Tim?
So what is more extreme about them getting exactly what they've been trying to do for 50 years?
It's extreme. What's extreme about it, Tim, is that it's deciding what goes on inside a woman's body. That you just said you were against that. That's what's extreme about it, Tim. What's extreme about it is women are going to die. That's what's extreme about it, Tim. What's extreme about it, Tim, is there's going to be a whole bunch of children with no parents, Tim. Understand that, Tim? It's extreme.
They're kind of in the same place. More importantly, this is a compromise. They're allowing abortion in blue states, even though they want it banned outright. Courthouse News Service, crosshairs on Roe v. Wade.
What do you guys think in the chat?
Demise of other rights.
Let me know in the chat.
Adam Winkler, who is a professor at UCLA, says the most obvious resort to policy over constitutional analysis of his opinion is where he tries to assure that overturning Roe will not impact other privacy rights like interracial marriage. So this is where they get it all from.
They tried to cancel me.
Not again with this
They
bullshit.
tried to shut me up, and they failed.
And they failed.
Alito's draft opinion is policy masquerading as constitutional law. At critical points in the argument, Alito abandons legal analysis for pure policy preference. At other points, his argument relies on weak evidence, like Roe v. Wade. Look, I don't care to argue the Supreme Court ruling where that's going. It is what it is. Okay, and you can talk about it all you want.
He gives up on women's rights really easily, doesn't he?
I think we...
Hi, Marie. A guy who claims to care so much about women's rights says the Supreme Court decision is what it is. That's how he's a right-winger. And that's all you need to know. It is what it is. Oh, but I care about women's rights. But now them taking women's rights away, it is what it is.
You're headed towards a civil war, and I don't think it'll be necessarily because of abortion, but I believe abortion may be the large catalyst. You ask people in the South what was the cause of the Civil War, and they'll tell you states' rights and a bunch of other issues. You ask someone in the South, why were Confederate soldiers fighting? And they'll say they were fighting for their homes. You ask someone from the North, or someone who believes, modern political...
They were fighting for slavery.
They're going to say it was over slavery,
sure,
and it was the Confederates were fighting to uphold slavery. Neither is wrong. It's just perspective. When the North fought, they're like, these people are upholding slavery and refuse to back down. That's their key issue. But it is fair to say, well, that was the main issue and the catalyst.
They didn't want to give up their slaves. That's it. They didn't want to give up their slaves.
Inside the minds of the Confederates, it wasn't like they were coming out there and being like, we must have it. It was, we're fighting for our states. But many of these people probably didn't know what was going on. But more importantly, as I said, while slavery was the key component, there were a bunch of other issues. The war started with the battle at Fort Sumter because Union soldiers were in Southern territory. So you could argue the cause of it, there could have been no Civil War. The dissolution of the Union, the secession, slavery. The conflict, depending on how reductive you want to be. I want to show you a few statements from Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks to make my point. And I actually am in agreement with a lot of what she's saying. I'm not here to criticize her. I'm here to show she's making some points I think are important. Hear this.
Pathetic corporate goon.
Okay, real quick. She's calling Nancy Pelosi a pathetic corporate goon? Yes. Total agreement.
Okay, everybody power down. Unilateral disarmament.
I can't wait until these people are gone.
She just said, I can't wait until these people are gone. Later, she goes out to disown AOC even. The Democrats have let us down. This is a video compilation provided by Gene Edits, Spangler creator on Twitter, who tweeted at me, but I think it's relevant. Now, I'm not a fan of grabbing these clips and then dragging them over, they do it to me. I don't care for it. I don't disagree with Anna Kasparian. She says, I can't wait till these people are gone, out of office, or, passing on, I suppose. But, once they're out of political power, she says that the Democrats are feckless, we're not getting what we want. And I'm like, I know all too well what that feels like when you're dealing with the political elites. The Democrats weren't giving me what I wanted. They were doing insane things for power. They were lying for the most part. I said, I don't want to have anything to do with it. They were embracing critical race theory, and critical gender ideology. And Joe Biden pushed critical race theory trainings, getting rid of Donald Trump's executive order. I opposed that. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. Well, because I oppose critical race theory, because it's overtly racist and reductive of people, I said, I'll take school choice and I'll take Trump. I'll take the more libertarian approach. I understand that the Democrats want a more authoritarian approach, or they don't view it that way. Regardless, I disagree with them. But I certainly agree that the Republicans and the Democrats are not providing for the younger generation. Which brings me to civics. When you take a look at the 65-plus age bracket, which political party do you think is more concerned with the needs of people like you? you can see that 43 Republican, 42 Democrats. It's split. A lot of people like to show how the Republicans have moved further left or further right. They show these data points. What they fail to mention in all of these analyses is demographic breakdown and how that impacts what's happening. If you were to take 65-year-olds and ask them about their positions, it would look like the Republican Party in 1994. If you were to take 18 to 34-year-olds and combine it, you'll start to see what today's politics look like. That is to say, 65-year-olds, be it Democrat or Republican, hold the same positions for the most part that they did in the 90s.
Okay.
So we're talking about 30 years ago. That's when these people were in their 30s.
Okay. So they're the same fucking party.
Now I'm 36. They were more moderate and closer to each other. When we talk to boom,
that's a very interesting thing that he pointed out there. I've never seen it like that, put like that. But when you hear Jimmy Dore say there's only one party, it's a duopoly, and that's it. These two parties work together to enrich each other, and they're doing it through war and the little differences they have. They use those to divide us and keep us at each other's throats while they do war all around the world and commit imperialism,
And older people on Timcast IRL, many of them are not aware of what modern politics looks like. When you then take a look at the same question, which party is concerned with people like you, 18 to 34, you can see 30% says neither. 41% Democrat, 25% Republican. Bad news for Republicans, mind you. But it's because the Republican Party's been trash. Even Republicans don't like the Republican Party. The Democrats are more likely to have people marching in lockstep, but that neither category, those are progressives and conservatives. Those are progressives and libertarians. Anna Kasparian would probably fall into that camp. Neither party is working for them. I would fall into that camp. Neither party is working for us, even though Anna and I completely disagree. Where we do agree is that the parties are broken. Now, Anna is much more extreme in that she's personally misrepresented my positions. I don't talk about her positions. And when I do, as you can see, I agree with her positions and try to represent them accurately and fairly. That is to say, she does not like the establishment Democratic Party. The Young Turks and progressives feel the Democrats are not providing for what they want, and truth be told, they aren't. The Democrats are not enacting progressive policies. They're enacting weird social policies, but even Democrat voters think they've done enough on those issues. I think Anna and Chen
because the women are here.
For example, when I said
a lot of
people who were let into the Capitol, let in, will likely not get charged because trespassing requires a warning, they made a segment mocking me, saying it was the stupidest idea ever. Turns out I was correct.
Hey, in the next few seconds, I'm going to review the 3 biggest threats to your emergency.
Man gets acquitted basically like a month, like 2 months later. We'll likely see more acquittals on those grounds, charges being dropped outright. For those that were violent, they'll go to prison. As I've said, they will and should. And I'm critical of that fringe group as well, of several hundred people. There are certainly Trump supporters and people on the right who believe in saying things. I do not believe that the average person associated with the right, libertarian, conservative, or post-liberal, believes those things. They don't. Timcast IRL is one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It's kind of crazy for me to say, and I love all of you guys for supporting it. It's a weird position to be in, honestly. But the people who watch the show, were not even familiar with Marjorie Taylor Greene's statements or Steve Bannon until we had them on the show, because post-liberal, the Young Turks would paint it as far right, which is why I think you see 41% of 18 to 34-year-olds siding with the Democrats, because they don't even watch my show. I think it's the funniest thing, too, because whenever I get these weird criticisms from lefty cultists, I'm like, have you watched the show? And they're like, of course not. I've only seen some clips. I'm like, oh, okay, because if you watch the show, you'd know that I'm actually, I'm post-liberal. Post-liberal meaning in the 90s, I'd be a Democrat. In the 2000s, I'd be a Democrat. In 2012, I'd be a Democrat. And then the left went nuts. Now, because of political factions like Anna Kasparian's, the Young Turks, the progressives, because they're so far left, meaning their policy stances, their economic stances, and their social stances, that makes me closer to the right. Abortion is a really interesting issue. The Republicans want abortion banned, period. They've always wanted abortion banned, as I've been saying. The left, Kathy Tran in Virginia, argued for abortion up to the point of giving birth, meaning a woman could be in labor and you could kill the baby as it's coming out. I'm not exaggerating with that. That was actually presented by Kathy Tran in Virginia, answered to by Governor Northam on a radio show. Look it up. We've shown it so many times. Now, Northam said it's usually in the instance of non-viability or deformity, but the law isn't about that. The law did not say those things. It was about unrestricted. I can't agree with that. I can't vote for that. I am not that extreme. The left has gone there. Or they outright deny
the left. One woman.
Let me show you this. Let me show you a few things.
One woman says it on a radio show, and he says the left has gone there. That's just so, you know, there's Nazi Republicans, dude. So we could say the right has gone there. You know, it's just so stupid to blame the entire group for the actions of one person.
Florida, a pansexual Florida teacher canned for discussing orientation with students. This woman was talking about who she's being intimate adult-wise with middle schoolers and then telling them to draw pictures of their orientations. Yo, I'm sorry, I'm not that extreme. When you came to me and said gay marriage, I said, absolutely. I understand civil rights fight, privacy rights for people, and equality under the law in terms of a person.
Look, man, I agree. She shouldn't be making up her own curriculum like that. There's a problem there. What I was talking about before was if a kid has a question or something, and that they trust someone, and they want to ask them a question, that they're allowed to talk about it. Not that this woman thinks she understands how to teach this sort of thing to the kids. I got a problem with this too, just so you all know.
Another person, interracial, LGBTQ or otherwise. But I said, leave the kids out of it.
Yeah.
When you go to kids and tell them to draw these pictures, when you show them books representing adult activities that book genderqueer, which it does, Amazon says the book genderqueer is what it's called, is for 18 and up only, yet it was in middle school libraries. You have become extreme, not me.
I'm so upset about it.
Here's my point. As the younger generations raised by these teachers get older, and they are more socially extreme, I will never compromise with those people. Never. There will be no compromise between when these teachers can start talking about adult activities with kids 5 years old to 9 years old. That's what Florida banned. Zero compromise. Zero. Never going to.
That's not what the law states. And he's wrong, and he's misrepresenting it. And he still has not addressed what he said at the beginning of this video. At all. Never. The accusation was from Biden that MAGA is, in the recent history, the most extreme political group. And he says it's provably false. He hasn't given one example of another group that comes close. We've been waiting 29 minutes, 30 minutes
now. They mostly agreed with each other except for a few key wedge issues. They don't realize this. When the boomers age out of Congress and AOC is in Nancy Pelosi's position, the left and the right are divided, but it is because 65-year-olds, you go down in age, and here you are, 18-year-olds, couldn't be further from each other. And so that's the issue. When that happens, you are going to have people on the right being like, you are doing what to kids? And the people on the left are going to be like, you can't stop us from doing this to kids. When the left comes out and lies about the parental rights and education bill, I think it's fair to point out many on the left are just...
Hey, man, she got fired, Tim. She got fired.
When post-liberals like myself come out, or disaffected liberals, whatever you want to call it.
She should have been fired, and she was.
I don't think you should be doing this with kids.
He's acting like there was no recourse. You know? We need to do something about this.
Seriously?
They fired her.
Okay, dude. Well,
the law's working. Everything's fine. You know, you don't need a don't say gay bill.
You say you want to ban abortion. You say, all right, well, I think it's fair to say we should have restrictions. Maybe first trimester should be a bit more relaxed.
Oh, now he's going to play doctor.
I do think it's wrong to use abortion as contraception.
This should be good.
I worry about privacy rights, and I worry about liberty issues and government overreach and regulation. But I think the Republicans make a lot of really, really great points on life. I think there's got to be some compromise. The left just comes out and says unrestrained, unfettered, unrestricted, and I'm like, I can't compromise with that. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, a viable baby can be killed. No, that's never going to happen. I am the compromise. When they say they would like to talk to 9-year-olds about, adults are doing it and their personal lives, I say, I will never give you any leeway. There's no compromise. What are they going to say? Okay, well, what if we only talk about like these particular aspects of adult activities? No. Okay, what about nothing? Okay, what about, we won't talk about a home run, but what about talking to kids about third base? No. Okay, what about second base? No. What about first base? No. No, first base. You're not going to sit down. I'm not going to compromise on you going to kids and talking about kissing. Here's why 2 adults want to kiss each other. Sorry, not interested. You tell the kids, talk to your parents, the parents will decide. I'm not compromising.
Correct. He's got a good point. Has nothing to do with the bill.
If it's true the intergeneration embraces,
he needs to go read the bill.
You are going to have a Democratic Party that overtly says we should talk to kids about all of these issues, and a right that says over my dead body.
They try to
the same advertisement, they play it repeatedly.
And they say,
nobody cares, dude. Nobody likes you.
And that's how you get.
Who cares?
Not because people are becoming more extreme, but it's because it's generational divide. And there you go. Let me give a shout out to
no shout out. So I've got something open here, and it's making it hard for me to there's a window open somewhere, and I can't but there it is. Now, that's so stupid. Okay. So he never gave a single example as to why it was provably false that MAGA isn't the most extreme group in U.S. history. He claimed it was. He said it was fundamentally, provably false, and he didn't give a single example of another group that was worse. I found it very interesting. Look, man, I'd love to keep going on the show, guys, and I would. I've actually got some more content right now, ready to go. But there's only 7 viewers. I'm just gonna refresh this. It's amazing. That teacher should be fired, right, Orca? And investigated. Well, she was fired. 7 viewers. So that's too bad, man, because I had stuff to do, man. But all right, you guys aren't even talking, so you guys take care. I'll see you guys in another show next time. Okay.